You create a .NET project, run the application, and you get an error screen. Swagger has disappeared. So how do you add it back in? Before we do that though, let's find out why they removed it from new projects. So Microsoft added this announcement in GitHub saying that it's been removed. They specify that the project is no longer actively maintained by its community owner and that issues have not been addressed or resolved. They've replaced it with OpenAPI. This generates the OpenAPI documentation without Swagger. But if you want to add Swagger back in, it's easy to do. Go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, and manage NuGet packages for solution. Click on the Browse tab and do a search for Swagger UI. Swashbuckle.aspnetcore.swagger.ui is the project we need to install. Back in program.cs, find app.map.openAPI, and underneath that, call app.useSwaggerUI and pass in some options. We need to call options.swaggerEndpoint, and the new endpoint for it is /openapi/v1.json. And we need to give it a title. We can call it API v1. Now to launch this when the application runs, we go into Properties and Launch Settings.json, find the HTTPS profile, we set Launch Browser to True, and we set Launch URL to Swagger. Hooray! Swagger's back in our project. Let's just test out the endpoint. And it's been executed successfully. We use Swagger to test Web API endpoints in my Minimal APIs for Complete Beginners course. You can view the course at roundthecode.com/min1 and check the YouTube description for any offers. So Swagger is working, but are there any better alternatives? Scalar is another package we can use. Go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, manage NuGet packages for solution. Let's do a search for scalar.aspnetcore. We select the package and install it into our project. Back in program.cs, we need to import scalar.aspnetcore. Then we need to call app.map_scalar API reference. Now to launch Scalar when we run the application, we need to go to Properties and Launch Settings.json. Find the HTTPS profile, set Launch Browser to True, and we set Launch URL to Scalar/v1. This is Scalar and it feels different to Swagger. For starters, we have all the endpoints on the left-hand side, as well as any models. We can select the endpoint, and we can then test the request. We can set things like any request headers, cookies, and query parameters, and we can also test the response. So if we send the response, it gives us any outputs in terms of the cookies, any request headers sent, response headers, and it also gives the body. And importantly, we've got a successful response. We can also add options as well. So we pass in the options parameter. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the title for the API documentation, and we're going to call it My API. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the theme for it. So we call the withTheme method, and we need to call the scalar theme enum, and we've got a number of different alternatives here that we can select. We're going to select scalartheme.mars. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to hide the sidebar. And we do that by calling options.hideSidebar. That's loaded the Scalar UI again, but with some differences. The title now says My API, there's now the Mars background, and there's no sidebar. Redoc is another one, but unlike the others, it only generates documentation for the endpoints. You can't actually test them. We go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, and manage NuGet packages for solution. We do a search for redoc.aspnetcore, select the package and install it into the project. And then in program.cs, we call app.useRedoc and pass in the options parameter. We need to set a root prefix and we'll set that to docs. And we also need to add the spec URL. What do you think that will be? Well, this is the OpenAPI URL that we need to specify. So it's /openapi/v1.json. Now to launch this, when the application runs, we go into Properties and Launch Settings. We go to the HTTPS profile. We change Launch Browser to True. And what do you think the launch URL should be? Well, if we go back into program.cs, we've set the root prefix to docs, so that's what we need to set it to. So here's the redoc URI. It's got the endpoint, but it just shows you what response it can return. It doesn't allow you to test it. So there's a couple of UI packages you can use, but you wouldn't really want to use them outside of development. So how else can you test your API endpoints? If you created a .NET project recently, you might have seen this HTTP file and wondered what it is. Well, it's another way of how we can test API endpoints. Let's run the application. It's already added an entry for the weather forecast. If we click on Send Request, it actually sends the request and outputs the response. Let's now add another API endpoint and find out how to add it to this file. We're now going to add another API endpoint and add it to that HTTP file. We'll do it with minimal APIs we call app.mapget. We'll have it with a root of /test, and then we'll add a root parameter of a, which is an integer, and we'll add that parameter into the endpoint handler. And we're just going to return typed results.ok and then add that parameter as part of the response. Let's open the HTTP file and run the application. We then need to go into View, Other Windows, and Endpoints Explorer. It's added our new endpoint in there. Let's go into the file. We right-click on the new endpoint and select Generate Request. So it's generated a request, it's added a variable for us. Now this part has gone a little bit wrong. It thinks we're adding it as a query string when actually we're adding it as part of the root. So we need to move that out of there and we need to move it into here. So we can set the A variable to something like 3. And if we click on Send Request, what do you think A will output? It's outputted 3 because it's part of the parameter and we're adding that to the response. Let me know in the YouTube comments if you want me to do a video on the HTTP file. You've got the HTTP file and you've also got Postman as well. Let's see how we can use that. Before we use Postman, we want to run the application and get the Open API documentation. So let's run the application and load up the Open API documentation. We get it from /openapi/v1.json. And that's added all the Open API documentation for the endpoints that we've added to our application. Let's copy the endpoint. In Postman, we could just add each endpoint individually. But if you've got hundreds or even thousands of endpoints, that's going to take a long time. Surely there's a better way of doing it. Well, let's click on the Import button, and then we'll paste in the URL that we just copied. It's read our API specification. We can select how we want to import the specification. We'll select Postman Collection. And that's now added the API endpoints into Postman from the application. So there's a slight glitch with this. It's added a / to the host. We need to remove that from the base URL. Let's now test it with the weather forecast first. That's outputted a 200 response and the body as well. We'll also try it with the test endpoint that we created. So it's got a variable there. We can change that to whatever number we want, so we can change it to 54. And what do you think that will output in the response? It's outputted 54. So that's another way of how you can test your API endpoints. Let me know in the YouTube comments how you test your API endpoints. And if you want to learn more about .NET, watch this video next. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.